Hello and welcome to Managing Asia. We're in Tokyo to talk to Christophe Weber, CEO of Takeda Pharmaceuticals, to find out how the company is addressing global health problems and transforming the future of drug development. Takeda, one of the world's leading pharmaceutical companies, has been driving innovation for over 240 years. Founded in Osaka, the company now operates in approximately 80 countries, with its global headquarters in Tokyo. Takeda's key research and development areas include oncology, rare diseases, gastroenterology, and neuroscience. Steering the company is Christophe Weber, who joined Takeda in 2014 and became its CEO a year later. In a decade under his leadership, the company has undergone a transformation that turned Takeda into a global powerhouse and strengthening its competitive edge. You were the first foreign CEO to head up a Japanese pharmaceutical company. How was the company structured and run that you knew you had to change, and how did you map out the transformation process?
The company was actually organized in 3 separate entities which were independent from each other. So it was not really run as a global company. There were 3 manufacturing organizations, 3 R&D, because of historical acquisition. So it was already present in many countries, but not run as a global company. So when I was asked to join, the mandate was, okay, let's carry on and make the company more global and more competitive.
Under your leadership, Takeda's revenue more than doubled to $30 billion. A lot of that growth came from a mega $62 billion acquisition of UK rival Shire Pharmaceuticals. It was the biggest takeover by a Japanese company, and it was described as risky and ambitious. What made you do it?
So first, we did it in 2018-19. So we had already transformed very significantly the company before. At that time, we were already running the company globally. We had a very well-established organization with the Takeda executive team. So in a way, we were ready for this acquisition. That's very important. And then we felt that the fit was very strong with our business, with our product, our portfolio. So it was a very strategic move. You make an acquisition like that, very large, very impactful, if strategically you gain a lot from it, because you know that there will be some issues coming with it. So that's why we did it. It was one opportunity in a lifetime.
You paid a 65% premium for Shire, and you took on a $60 billion debt just to complete the acquisition. You met with some opposition. I'm sure you did the math. Did you know it was a risk worth taking?
Yeah, I think it was. By the way, all the shareholders voted in favor of the deal. But again, we felt that the benefit that we will get from an acquisition will be long-lasting, very strategic, changing the company for the better. If we will not have done this acquisition, we will be 2 times smaller. There is no way we will be competitive in the US market, which is the most important country in the world for pharmaceuticals. Through that acquisition, we tripled our revenue in the United States. It was also a way to reposition ourselves on innovation. We sold our OTC business at the time. We sold our generic business.
It's been 6 years since the acquisition. So you're confident and you're pleased that Shire acquisition delivered the benefits that you wanted?
Absolutely. Takeda is now globally competitive. We have the presence in the world to commercialize any new medicines, which is very important, especially again in the US, but in 80 countries where we operate. We have the R&D scale to develop multiple new medicines in parallel. We invest about $5 billion per year in R&D. So we more than double our R&D investment. When you have a $5 billion R&D budget, you can develop, today we have more than 20 medicines in clinical development.
Which you couldn't do before?
You couldn't do before, because when you have 1.5 billion, for example, in budget,
it limits you, right?
It limits you. But you know, in our field, you have a lot of attrition. So if you have 1 molecule in development, for example, it might fail, and then you have nothing. If you have 6, 1 might fail, but you still have 5. So I think scale matters a lot in terms of risk management and opportunity for the future. So no doubt that it put us in a very different category of companies, and now we can compete with any of the big pharmaceutical company in the world.
Takeda is driving advancements in drug development through a blend of in-house research and key strategic collaborations. CEO Christophe Weber shares more insights with me about the company's drug development process. What is your approach to innovation and drug development at Takeda? Are you consciously thinking about the next health problem you want to address?
Well, we focus on life-transforming medicines. So we are focusing on a few disease areas, on neuroscience, oncology, gastroenterology, for example. And in this disease area, say, okay, where can we really transform the life of patients? And that's really what is guiding our decision, how we focus our pipeline, how we prioritize our programs. We always look at, okay, this disease, what is the level of the standard of care? Can we change that? And that's what is guiding our innovation.
Japan's aging population is growing at an unprecedented rate. Today, nearly 1 in 3 Japanese is over the age of 65. And among the most pressing healthcare challenges for the elderly is Alzheimer's disease, the most common form of dementia. It is estimated that 6.45 million people by 2060 in the country are expected to be living with dementia. That is 1 in 6 individuals aged 65 and above. That's where Takeda comes in. As one of Japan's top drug makers, it is investing heavily in research to find new ways to treat Alzheimer's and other brain disorders. One of its most promising collaborations is with AC Immune to develop an Alzheimer's vaccine. You're based here in Tokyo, and this country, Japan, has the oldest population in the world. Dementia has become a big problem among the elderly. Tell us more about this Alzheimer's vaccine that you're currently developing.
We are doing a partnership with a startup company, AC Immune, which is developing an immunotherapy for Alzheimer's. So it's early stage, but we think that the technology has a very high potential. So it's a big bet, but it could be transformative for Alzheimer's. So neuroscience is one of the disease areas we are focusing on, and of course, neurological disorder, dementia is part of it. So early stage, but very exciting.
What other opportunities does the elderly and senior population give you in terms of drug exploration? What are you looking at next?
Many diseases have a higher prevalence when you get older. Neurological disorder is one, but cancer as well. Many cancers are more prevalent when you get older. So we are in oncology, we are in neurological disorder. For example, so you have aging population in that type of disease. Yeah.
So drug development never stops?
Never stop. You need to constantly reinvent yourself. Eventually, your product will be genericized, so you need to come up with the next pipeline. Right now, what is exciting is that with data and technology, the way we do it will change completely, which has not happened so much in the past. So it's a very exciting time.
Developing new breakthrough drugs is a long and tedious process. How do you grapple with the high investment costs of drug development? How do you manage the financial risks and improve the success rate?
You improve the success rate by having good scientific expertise. That's why we are at Takeda, we are focused on a few disease areas. So you want to have the best scientists on this disease. That's how you improve your success rate. You want to have a balanced pipeline. You know that some areas are more risky than others. So you don't want to be on zero risk, because then you will develop medicines without added value.
Do you try to develop everything in-house, or do you try to farm out to startups?
We do both. We have our own research team, a very initial phase, but we do a lot of partnership as well. And we do also some
Which one is more successful?
Well, the attrition rate is the same across the board, but obviously you need to keep your score.
So you need to hedge your bets.
Yeah, and at the end you need to have more success than failure, otherwise long term you are in trouble.
Any other drugs in your pipeline that you're looking at that could give you another blockbuster hit?
Yeah, we have actually 6 medicines in development in late stage. One, for example, is a molecule to treat a disease called narcolepsy. Narcolepsy is a disease where people fall asleep. They cannot resist. It's a very impactful disease, and there is no good treatment today. Internally, actually, we have developed these molecules, which will be almost a cure. It's super efficacious.
So you're a pioneer in this field?
Yes, yes. We are the first to develop this class of molecule, and it will be transformative for the patient with narcolepsy.
You've also got to face intensified competition coming from generic drug makers after your patent's expiry. One of your drugs in focus, Vyvanse, lost its exclusivity last year. What's the best way to battle generic drug makers?
Well, first, it's unavoidable. You cannot, you can defend your intellectual property, but at the end of the day, they will be generic, and that's part of our innovation cycle. And in a way, it's good because it is forcing us to create new medicines. And so Vyvanse, we knew it was coming, and we have now 14 generic on the market in the US. So actually, the impact on us is more behind us than in front of us. Vyvanse was 10% of our total revenue. So it's very material, but it's not, it cannot threaten the entire company because we are a 30 billion revenue.
You're a firm believer that data and digital technologies will help revolutionize and speed up the discovery and delivery of life-saving treatments. How will AI transform the way Takeda operates in future?
So it's data and technology and AI. It will transform our entire value chain, not only research, development, but also manufacturing and commercial. One of an application that we are investing a lot on, which is not talked a lot about, is in manufacturing. We can really improve our productivity and our speed of manufacturing and reduce our cost. So I think the industry will be completely transformed. Actually, after R&D, technology and AI is our biggest investment at Takeda. So it's really, really exciting.
What sort of investment are we talking about in the digital space?
We are talking about more than $1 billion per year.
Have you seen the benefits yet?
Yeah, on every programs we do an assessment about how it will improve our process and change the way we operate, and it's always remarkable. So we are very selective about where we make this investment. It's really super exciting.
You're French, the son of two physicians, grew up in a family where you're focused on medicine and life sciences. How would you describe your leadership and your management style? I'm
very collaborative. I don't like consensus, which was something we changed.
You don't like consensus?
No, because I think that consensus is slow first, but also sometimes impossible to reach when you have a tough decision to make. So often everybody agrees, but if there is no consensus, it's not a reason for not making a decision. I want to be very inclusive. I empower a lot. The Takeda executive team, my team, are very empowered. You've announced you're going to step down, retire in June next year. And Julie Kim, which heads up Takeda's US business unit, has been appointed as your successor. How's the leadership transition coming along? Well, just starting. It's starting, but we have been working on my succession with the board for a long time. Julie has worked closely with me in the last 6 years, first as the head of the plasma-derived therapy business unit, and then in 2022, she became the head of the US business. So that was a way to also develop her and prepare her. And with the nomination committee on the board, we had a very thorough process of selection, and we are super pleased by this choice, this decision. Any words of advice for her? My advice is, it's important to start on a good foot. Do the change that you want to do at the beginning, because I've been 12 years with Takeda. It moves so fast. Times go so fast. So I think it's very important to make the change early, so that you have time to execute, to implement, and to see the result. What sort of legacy do you hope to leave behind? The values, the culture, and of course, the company to continue to develop and to be among the top leading pharmaceutical company in the world. That's the goal. And of course, at the end of the day, what we do is we transform the life of patients. And I think it's a very noble cause. And I hope that the company will succeed in that. And that was Christophe Weber, CEO of Takeda Pharmaceuticals. Hope you've enjoyed the program. Do join me on the next episode of Managing Asia. For more interview highlights, check out managingasia.cnbc.com. I'm Christine Tan. Thanks for watching.